Okay everyone, let's start to talk about our animal sculptures. I'm going to give you some tips now on some supplies that you can use to start to build your animal sculpture. So the first thing I want to mention is you should have your worksheet looking at your animal form first. This should always be next to you when you're sculpting. Now your animal can be one of two sizes. It could be as small as my little turtle here, it's about as big as my hand, or it could be as big as my dog here. It's about as big as the length of my arm. I don't want you to go any bigger than this. If it's bigger than the length of your arm from your elbow to your wrist, that's probably too big. And we probably won't finish that in time. So it could be this size, or anything in between these two. So I'm going to show you now how I started to build the pieces of my dog. So first supply that we have a lot of is newspaper. Newspaper and tape is going to be the main parts that you're going to use for your animal. So the head and the big parts of the body. You should probably use newspaper for that. So newspaper is really good if I want to make a big form like a ball for the head or for the body. So looking at the dog here, I can see that most of the head is like a big circular sphere or ball. So I'm going to take pieces of newspaper, just starting with one piece at a time, and just start to ball this up. I can scrunch it down so it's really thick, and that looks kind of like a good size, but I think that I might want to make it a little bigger. So I can now take another piece of the newspaper, just one at a time here, and then start to wrap the ball inside of this paper. So wrapping it up again. Really squish it down so it's all sticking together. Okay, that looks like a pretty good size to me. It's about as big as my fist, so I think that's good for me. Now, this, to make it stay together, so it doesn't fall apart like this, I need to wrap it up with the tape. Now, I don't need to wrap the entire thing with tape. I just need to put enough tape around the ball so that it sticks together. It's kind of different than the people sculpture. We don't need to wrap everything with tape. This is made of newspaper, so the paper mache will stick to the newspaper pretty well. Unlike the foil, newspaper will soak up the paper mache pretty well. So as long as it stays together like a ball, this is fine. I can stop. I might want to put another piece of tape here just to make it kind of smooth. But that's it. So I have my newspaper ball. Okay, for the body, I might want to put two of these forms together to make kind of like a longer body. So I might take another ball of newspaper and put them together and tape them together. Okay, so the tin foil. Let's talk about what tin foil would be good for. Tin foil is really good for pieces of the animal that are hard to sculpt like a ball. So looking at kind of like the legs, tin foil might be good for something like that, or maybe even the tail. The tail is a really odd form and it's very curvy. So tin foil is good for sculpting those types of curvy things. So if I take my foil here and I wanted to make a tail, I could just kind of squish the foil up, and it's very bendable. So it's good for things like tails or feet. So I could use that as the tail and then wrap that up with the tape. So if I have foil though, the paper mache does not like to stick to the foil unless I wrap it with tape. So I'm gonna go around and wrap the whole thing with tape like I did with my person. So that would be a good tail. Okay, let's talk about the feet. You might find certain things in the sculpture bins, like toilet paper rolls or bottles, things that will be good for longer legs and feet. Things that resemble like a cylinder. So these would be good for feet. Let's say I wanted to attach a foot on the bottom of the leg here like this. So if I want to attach two pieces together, it's really important that I start with one piece and stick the tape down just to one side of the foot, and then stick this to the leg. So I'm pressing really hard with my hand so the tape sticks to both. And then, but do you see how the foot's kind of hanging off a little bit? That means I need to put some tape on the other side. So all the way around, I'm going to make sure the tape sticks from one form to the next and press with my hands. So I should probably put a few more pieces around here and make sure they really stick together. Okay, so if I shake it and it's not wiggling anymore, that means it's pretty secure. When your sculpture is all built together, everything should be secure enough so that no pieces fall off of each other, okay? All right, last thing I want to show you, what about little things like ears or any other little details? That's where your cardboard will be very helpful. If I want to make like a flat ear, it might be good to just draw this on the cardboard, cut it out, and then just attach the ear on the side of the head like that, okay? So those are the main supplies that you're gonna use. You will use a lot of tape and mostly newspaper, foil, and cardboard. Okay, so let's get started. You should have your animal picture before you even start sculpting.